You are listening to an exclusive interview on Bass Musician Magazine. The interview starts now.
Hey everybody, this is Raul for Bass Musician Magazine, and today we have the great honor and pleasure of chatting with bassist and author Daniele Vacca, coming to you directly via Skype from Italia. Daniele has just completed and has a book for a particular segment of our population, the complete book of bass ukulele. This is a particular niche for those of you that have seen the Kala U-bass and a lot of the, I'll call them knockoffs because there are some other bass ukuleles out there. But Kala is the strongman of the bass ukuleles. And Daniele, you started, obviously, I'm going to say, probably playing bass before the bass ukuleles came out, right? Tell us a little bit. How did you get started in bass?
I started playing bass almost 20 years ago. And I studied at school and privately. 4 years ago, I met the U-bass and I founded a ukulele band. And I fell in love with this instrument because it's very similar to the bass, but it's quite new in techniques and in sound. I stopped with the contrabass, with the upright bass, because it is too difficult to carry. And I started to play all the music for the contrabass with the U-bass.
That's interesting because when people see the size of the U-bass, and we've done some reviews on them, so if people want to check, they can check out some of what I have seen with the U-bass. But I think the thing that impresses me the most is the big sound from such a small instrument. And so it can be a replacement for an upright because it has such a big voice.
Yes, they always ask to me if it is a toy. No? And the second question is about the strings. What is the material? The strings?
Yes.
And after I connect the bass in an amplifier, everybody is impressed by the big sound. And they say, maybe it's not a toy. And they ask to play, to try other things. And some of them run to buy one U-bass because they fall in love too.
Absolutely. Well, and the interesting thing about the U-bass is that in many ways, it is very similar to our conventional bass. I'll call the other basses a conventional bass. But in many ways, it's different. Those differences, I'm guessing, were significant for you to make a book exclusively for the U-bass. How does your book address those differences between the U-bass and the regular bass?
The most important thing is the sides, Frets are smaller, and I put some exercise about how to be familiar with the short scale, okay? Second topic is about the material of the string. You must try to don't be stuck on the plastic, on the nylon plastic, this material of the strings, so some exercise, because some people at the beginning put dust on the fingers for be more, to slide, yes. But I tried to invent some exercise to be familiar on this. And the most important thing for me is that you start to think in a wide thing, for example, about the scale, because positions are wider on the U-bass. You can take more than an octave, no? You can take a tenth too. Okay, this way of thinking is very different from the normal bass.
Got you. Because with a longer neck, you would have to be moving your arm cover a greater distance, and with the shorter scale, and a much shorter scale than what they call short scale basses, because there's always been some short scale basses, but this really compacts things. I do want to come back to the strings a second, though, because the original U-bass, the one that I have, my mahogany, is a polyurethane kind of material.
Yes.
And it does feel kind of sticky. It does feel kind of bouncy. It takes a little getting used to. But also, I know that Kala had addressed those concerns by working with companies to make a round wound kind of string. What is your feeling about those strings versus the polyurethane?
I tried this kind of strings because Matt from Kala sent me this kind of strings.
Yes.
I think that, they are very good strings, but it's not anymore an U-bass.
Gotcha.
Okay, it lose the plastic sound. It became just a small acoustic bass, and the romantic feeling about the U-bass is different, no? And with new strings, there are less problems on tuning, because in the first model, I take my U-bass.
Sure.
I showed this. When you tune the U-bass, sometimes you feel that you are tuning only this part, okay? Because they're not stopping, because the string is sticky.
Gotcha.
Okay? And with new materials are easier to tune, because they can slide more easily on the nut.
So what I'm understanding with the strings, it kind of sounds like either option is okay, kind of depending on the feel that you want, on the sound quality. Do you find, again, you mentioned it sounds more like just a small bass. Do you notice with the round wound more of a metallic kind of?
Yes.
And I know people complain with regular basses about fret buzz, and if you're sliding, you hear that, which you don't hear with polyurethane because it's smoother.
Yeah, but after some exercise, you can slide on the
polyurethane.
Yes, it's too difficult for me to say this word in English.
Oh yes. I am happy to say polyurethane for both of us, Daniele. So with that, you have your book starts very much from the beginning. So it's a great beginner kind of book. It talks about the tuning. It talks about the characteristics of the instrument. You have exercises to develop your skills to be able to play it. It has a CD that comes with it.
The CD is with all the exercise of the book. And it is a kind of -1 exercise. You will listen all the basses in one side of the MP3, and in the other side you will listen the rest of the music. So if you do something like this, you will play in together with the music. This is the way that I thought about the CD.
That's always a very good way to incorporate it so that one can hear the example of what it should sound like, but then you can either move the speaker like a headphone, or I guess it's a right-left kind of thing, so you could turn off one speaker if you're sending it through your stereo system or into the room or something like that.
If you put the MP3 in some software like, Logic or Pro Tools, you can remove my bass and record your bass.
Ah, very cool. Part of what the book demonstrates and speaks to is the versatility of musics that can be played with the U-bass. So you have different genres of musics. Tell us a bit, what are you covering with your book there?
I recorded some examples of country music, of reggae music, disco music, pop music, rock music, punk, and even some, I call it the house music, but I put some effects on the bass to demonstrate that you can put distortion or envelope filters, something like this, to have different sounds.
Among the great things about your book, too, is that right now it's published in 3 languages, both Italian, English, and Spanish. And I understand that you are potentially working on a Chinese version, too. So this is very, very cool. if people are interested in getting a hold of your book, my understanding the best place to look is danieledenks.it.
Yes, yes. You can find it on Amazon in Italy, or now we are working to put on the Amazon.com for everybody. There are a lot of websites in which you can find. But by the way, if you send an email to my address on my website, I can suggest how to take the book.
Oh, excellent, excellent. Well, Daniele, thank you so much for taking time to talk to us. Again, the book is The Complete Book of Bass Ukulele, and I pronounce it as the Hawaiians do because they call it an ukulele, which means jumping flea, but the U-bass is no flea. That's a big boy, so it's much deeper than a little flea. But thank you again, people. Again, this book, Touch Bass with Daniele Denks IT. You're coming to you here live on Bass Musician Magazine. Grazie.
Thanks for bassing out with us here on bassmusicianmagazine.com.